Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English with Aurora. I'm so happy to see you here today. If this is your first time watching, welcome to our English learning family. We upload a brand new English learning video every single day to help you improve not only your listening, but also your speaking and fluency. Today's lesson is incredibly special because I'm going to teach you 50 essential phrases that will help you survive any conversation in English. Yes, you heard that right. 50 phrases that will give you the confidence and the tools you need to handle conversations at work, with friends, at restaurants, while traveling, or even when meeting new people. By the end of this video, you'll feel so much more prepared to speak English naturally and confidently. These aren't complicated expressions. These are real phrases that native speakers use every single day. So get ready to transform your conversational skills. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. We're here to help you every single day. Also, I recommend grabbing a pen and paper because you'll want to write these phrases down and practice them. Trust me, taking notes will help you remember everything much better. All right, are you ready? Let's get started. Let's begin with a phrase you'll hear almost every day. How's it going? This phrase is a casual and friendly way to ask someone how they are. It's less formal than how are you, and it's perfect for conversations with friends, classmates, or coworkers you know well. Imagine you see your friend at a coffee shop. You walk up and say, "Hey, how's it going?" They might reply with "Pretty good, thanks. How about you?" You can respond with, "I'm doing great, thanks for asking." This simple exchange shows you care and opens up the conversation naturally. You can also use this phrase when you run into someone you haven't seen in a while. Picture this, you're at the grocery store and you bump into your neighbor. You smile and say, "Hey, how's it going?" They say, "Not bad, just busy with work." And you reply, "I hear you. Same here." Just like that, you've started a natural, friendly conversation using a simple phrase. Practice using "how's it going" whenever you greet someone casually. It will make you sound relaxed and approachable. Now let's look at another super useful phrase. What have you been up to? This phrase means what have you been doing lately? It's perfect when you want to catch up with someone. It shows genuine interest in their life. Imagine you're meeting a friend for lunch and you haven't seen them in a couple of weeks. After you greet each other, you ask, "So, what have you been up to?" They might say, "Oh, not much, just working and catching up on some shows. How about you?" And you respond, "Same here. I've been really busy with some projects." This phrase keeps the conversation flowing and shows you care about what's happening in their life. You can use this phrase in many situations. For example, imagine you're at a party and you see someone you know from school. You walk over and say, "Hey, it's been a while. What have you been up to?" They tell you about their new job or hobbies, and suddenly you have so much to talk about. This phrase is a conversation starter that never fails. Try using it whenever you reconnect with someone. Let's move on to the next phrase, "I'm not sure." This is one of the most honest and useful phrases you can use. It means you don't have an answer or you're uncertain about something. It's completely okay to say this. Imagine your friend asks you, "Do you know what time the meeting starts?" And you reply, "I'm not sure. Let me check." This shows honesty and responsibility. You're not pretending to know something you don't. You can also use this phrase when giving opinions. For example, someone asks, "Do you think it will rain tomorrow?" You can say, "I'm not sure. The weather has been pretty unpredictable lately." This phrase helps you communicate clearly without feeling pressured to have all the answers. Native speakers use this all the time, so don't be afraid to use it too. Another phrase that will help you sound natural is "that makes sense." This phrase means you understand something or you agree with the logic behind it. When someone explains something to you and you follow their reasoning, you can simply say, "Oh, that makes sense." Imagine your coworker explains why a project deadline was moved. They say, "We had to delay it because the client requested more revisions." You respond, "Okay, that makes sense. Thanks for letting me know." This shows you're listening and you understand the situation. You can use this phrase in so many contexts. Picture this, you're learning how to use a new app and a friend shows you a shortcut. They explain the steps and you say, "Oh, that makes sense, I get it now." It's a simple way to confirm your understanding and keep the conversation moving smoothly. Now let's talk about a phrase that helps you buy time when you need to think. Let me think about it. This phrase is polite and shows you want to consider something carefully before responding. Imagine someone invites you to an event but you're not sure if you're free. Instead of saying yes or no immediately, you say, "Thanks for the invite. Let me think about it and get back to you." This gives you space to check your schedule and make a thoughtful decision. You can also use this phrase in professional situations. For instance, your boss asks if you can take on an extra project. You respond, "I appreciate you thinking of me. Let me think about it and see if I can manage the workload." This shows you're responsible and considerate. Native speakers respect this kind of response because it shows maturity. Here's a phrase that will make you sound friendly and supportive. "That sounds great." Use this phrase when someone shares good news or suggests a plan you like. Imagine your friend says, "I'm thinking we could go hiking this weekend." You respond, "That sounds great. I'd love to join." This shows enthusiasm and agreement. It's a positive phrase that encourages conversation. You can also use it in professional settings. For example, your colleague suggests a new approach to a project. You say, "That sounds great. Let's try it." This phrase is simple but powerful because it communicates openness and positivity. Let's practice a few of these phrases together in a short conversation. Imagine you run into an old friend at a bookstore. You say, "Hey, how's it going?" Your friend replies, "Pretty good. What have you been up to?" You answer, "Not much, just working and reading a lot. How about you?" Your friend says, "I've been busy with a new job. It's challenging but exciting." You respond, "That sounds great. I'm happy for you." This conversation uses 4 common phrases that flow naturally and feel authentic. Now, another essential phrase you need to know is "I'm afraid." This phrase is used to politely introduce bad news or to decline something. It softens the message. Imagine someone asks if you can attend their party, but you already have plans. You say, "I'm afraid I can't make it. I have another commitment that day." This sounds much more polite than just saying no. You can also use this phrase to give bad news. For instance, a colleague asks if a report is ready. You respond, "I'm afraid it's not finished yet. I need another hour." This phrase shows respect and professionalism. It's incredibly useful in both personal and work situations. Let's look at another helpful phrase, "It depends." This phrase means the answer isn't simple and there are conditions or factors involved. Imagine someone asks, "Are you going to the concert tonight?" You reply, "It depends. If I finish my work on time, I'll go." This shows you're flexible and realistic. You can also use this phrase when discussing preferences. For example, someone asks, "Do you prefer coffee or tea?" You say, "It depends. In the morning, I prefer coffee, but in the evening, I like tea." This phrase helps you give nuanced answers that reflect real life. Here's a phrase that shows empathy and connection. "I know what you mean." Use this when someone shares an experience or feeling you relate to. Imagine your friend says, "I've been so tired lately. Work has been exhausting." You respond, "I know what you mean. I've been feeling the same way." This shows understanding and support. It strengthens your connection with the other person. You can use this phrase in many situations. Picture this, your coworker complains about a difficult client. They say, "Dealing with this client is so frustrating." You reply, "I know what you mean. I've had similar experiences." This creates a bond and shows you're listening. Another phrase that will help you participate in conversations is "I couldn't agree more." This phrase means you completely agree with what someone just said. It's enthusiastic and supportive. Imagine your friend says, "I think we should take more breaks during the day." You respond, "I couldn't agree more. It really helps with productivity." This shows strong agreement and adds energy to the conversation. Use this phrase when you want to emphasize your agreement. For instance, someone says, "This restaurant has amazing food." You reply, "I couldn't agree more. It's one of my favorites." This phrase makes you sound confident and engaged. Now let's talk about a phrase that helps you express preferences gently. I'd rather. This phrase means you prefer one option over another. Imagine someone suggests going to the movies, but you prefer staying home. You say, "I'd rather stay in tonight and watch something at home." Is that okay? This communicates your preference politely without rejecting the other person's idea. You can also use this phrase to make decisions. For example, your friend asks, "Do you want pizza or pasta?" You respond, "I'd rather have pizza if that works for you." This phrase is flexible and respectful. Here's a phrase that will make you sound thoughtful. To be honest. Use this phrase when you want to share your true opinion or feelings. It adds sincerity to your words. Imagine your friend asks what you thought of a movie. You say, "To be honest, I didn't really enjoy it. It was a bit slow for me." This shows you're being genuine and open. You can use this phrase in professional contexts too. For instance, your manager asks for feedback on a project. You respond, "To be honest, I think we could improve the communication between teams." This phrase signals that you're about to share something real and important. Another phrase that's incredibly practical is "it's up to you." This phrase means you're letting the other person decide. Imagine your friend asks, "Where should we go for dinner?" You reply, "It's up to you. I'm happy with anything." This shows flexibility and makes decision-making easier. You can also use this phrase to delegate choices. For example, your coworker asks if you should schedule a meeting for morning or afternoon. You say, "It's up to you. Either time works for me." This phrase reduces pressure and shows cooperation. Let's practice these phrases together in a longer conversation. Imagine you and your friend are planning a weekend trip. You say, "Hey, I was thinking about going to the beach this weekend." Your friend replies, "That sounds great. What day were you thinking?" You answer, "I was thinking Saturday, but it's up to you." Your friend says, "Saturday works. What time should we leave?" You respond, "I'd rather leave early to avoid traffic." Your friend agrees, "I couldn't agree more. Let's leave around 7. You say, "Perfect." I know what you mean about the traffic. It can get crazy. Your friend adds, "To be honest, I'm really excited about this." You reply, "Me too. This trip is exactly what we need." This conversation flows naturally and uses multiple phrases you've just learned. Now, here's a phrase that helps you seek clarification. What do you mean? Use this when something isn't clear and you need more explanation. Imagine your friend says something confusing. You can ask, "What do you mean by that?" This shows you're paying attention and want to understand fully. You can also use this phrase to avoid misunderstandings. For instance, your boss gives you an instruction that's unclear. You ask politely, "What do you mean exactly? Could you clarify?" This ensures you get the information you need to do your job well. Let's look at another useful phrase, "I have no idea." This phrase means you don't know something at all. It's honest and straightforward. Imagine someone asks, "Do you know who won the game last night?" You reply, "I have no idea. I didn't watch it." This is much more natural than simply saying, "I don't know." You can use this phrase in casual and professional settings. For example, your colleague asks, "Do you know where the files are?" You respond, "I have no idea. Maybe check with Sarah." This phrase is direct but friendly. Here's a phrase that helps you show surprise or interest. "Really?" This simple word can change the entire tone of a conversation. When someone shares news, you can respond with, "Really? That's amazing." This shows you're engaged and interested. You can also use "really" to express disbelief. For instance, your friend says, "I just got a promotion." You respond, "Really? That's fantastic. Congratulations." This one word makes the conversation feel alive and interactive. Another phrase that will help you sound natural is fair enough. This phrase means you accept or understand someone's point, even if you don't fully agree. Imagine your friend says they don't want to go out because they're tired. You reply, fair enough, let's just stay in. This shows respect for their decision. You can also use this phrase in debates or discussions. For example, someone gives their opinion on a topic. You say, fair enough. I see where you're coming from. This keeps the conversation respectful and open. Now let's talk about a phrase that helps you make suggestions. How about, this phrase is perfect for proposing ideas. Imagine you're planning lunch with a friend. You say, how about we try that new restaurant downtown? This sounds friendly and inviting. You can use this phrase in many situations. For instance, you're working on a project and you suggest, how about we divide the tasks to finish faster? This phrase encourages collaboration and makes decision-making easier. Here's a phrase that expresses regret or apology gently. I'm sorry to hear that. Use this when someone shares bad news. Imagine your friend tells you they lost their job. You respond, I'm sorry to hear that. If you need anything, let me know. This shows compassion and support. You can also use this phrase for smaller disappointments. For example, someone says they missed their bus. You reply, I'm sorry to hear that. That's frustrating. This phrase helps you connect emotionally with others. Let's look at a phrase that shows you're paying attention. That's interesting. Use this when someone shares information or a story. Imagine your coworker talks about their recent trip. You say, that's interesting. Tell me more. This encourages them to continue and shows genuine interest. You can use this phrase to keep conversations going. For instance, someone explains a new concept. You respond, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way. This phrase makes you a better listener and conversationalist. Another essential phrase is never mind. Use this when you want to drop a topic or say something isn't important anymore. Imagine you start to ask a question but realize the answer isn't needed. You say, never mind, I figured it out. This keeps the conversation moving without awkwardness. You can also use this phrase to ease tension. For example, someone apologizes for a small mistake. You reply, never mind, it's no big deal. This phrase shows understanding and kindness. Here's a phrase that will help you express uncertainty politely. I'm not quite sure. This is similar to I'm not sure but sounds a bit more thoughtful. Imagine someone asks for your opinion on a complex topic. You say, I'm not quite sure. I need to think about it more. This shows you're taking the question seriously. You can use this phrase in professional situations. For instance, your manager asks about a timeline. You respond, I'm not quite sure yet. Let me check and get back to you. This phrase buys you time while staying professional. Now let's practice a longer conversation that brings together many of these phrases. Imagine you're catching up with a friend you haven't seen in months. You say, hey, how's it going? Your friend replies, pretty good. What have you been up to? You answer, not much, just working a lot. To be honest, I've been really busy. Your friend says, I know what you mean. Work has been crazy for me too. You ask, so what have you been doing for fun? Your friend responds, I started taking cooking classes. You say, really? That's interesting. How do you like it? Your friend says, I love it. It's so relaxing. You should try it. You reply, that sounds great. I'd rather do something creative like that than just watch TV. Your friend agrees, I couldn't agree more. You then suggest, how about we cook something together this weekend? Your friend says, I'd love that. What day works for you? You respond, it's up to you. I'm free Saturday and Sunday. Your friend says, let's do Saturday. You reply, perfect. That makes sense. I'm really looking forward to it. This conversation flows naturally and uses many of the phrases you've learned today. Let me share a few more incredibly useful phrases. By the way, is a phrase you use to introduce a new topic or add information. Imagine you're talking to a friend and you remember something. You say, by the way, did you hear about the new cafe that opened? This phrase smoothly transitions the conversation. You can also use it to mention something important. For instance, you're finishing a meeting and you add, by the way, don't forget we have another meeting tomorrow. This phrase is versatile and keeps conversations dynamic. Here's another great phrase, I guess. Use this when you're not completely certain but you're making an assumption. Imagine someone asks, do you think it will be crowded tonight? You reply, I guess it might be since it's Friday. This shows you're giving an opinion without being overly confident. You can also use this phrase to express reluctant agreement. For example, your friend insists on a plan you're unsure about. You say, I guess we can try it. This phrase is honest and relatable. Another important phrase is it doesn't matter. Use this when you want to show something isn't important or you're flexible. Imagine your friend apologizes for being 5 minutes late. You say, it doesn't matter. I just got here too. This eases their worry and shows understanding. You can also use this phrase when making decisions. For instance, someone asks what color you prefer for something unimportant. You respond, it doesn't matter to me. Either one is fine. This phrase simplifies decision-making. Let's talk about a phrase that shows enthusiasm. I'd love to. Use this when you want to accept an invitation or express strong interest. Imagine your friend invites you to a concert. You reply, I'd love to. Thanks for thinking of me. This shows appreciation and excitement. You can use this phrase in professional settings too. For example, your manager offers you an opportunity to lead a project. You respond, I'd love to. I really appreciate the opportunity. This phrase conveys eagerness and gratitude. Here's a phrase that helps you end conversations politely. I should get going. Use this when you need to leave but want to do so gracefully. Imagine you're at a party but you need to leave early. You say, this has been great, but I should get going. I have an early morning tomorrow. This sounds polite and respectful. You can also use this phrase in phone conversations. For instance, you've been chatting with a friend for a while. You say, I should get going. Let's catch up again soon. This phrase helps you exit conversations smoothly. Another helpful phrase is take your time. Use this when you want to tell someone they don't need to rush. Imagine your friend is trying to decide what to order at a restaurant. You say, take your time. There's no rush. This shows patience and consideration. You can use this phrase in work situations too. For example, a colleague is working on something for you. You say, take your time. I know you want to do it well. This phrase reduces pressure and shows support. Now let's look at a phrase that expresses disappointment gently. That's too bad. Use this when something unfortunate happens. Imagine your friend tells you their vacation got canceled. You respond, that's too bad. I'm sorry that happened. This shows sympathy without being overly dramatic. You can also use this phrase for smaller disappointments. For instance, someone says they couldn't get tickets to a show. You reply, that's too bad. Maybe next time. This phrase is simple but effective. Here's a phrase that shows appreciation. I appreciate it. Use this when someone does something helpful or kind. Imagine your coworker covers for you during a meeting. You say, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. This shows gratitude sincerely. You can use this phrase in personal situations too. For example, your friend gives you advice. You respond, I appreciate it. That really helps. This phrase strengthens relationships through gratitude. Another useful phrase is no worries. This phrase means don't worry about it or it's okay. Imagine someone apologizes for a minor mistake. You say, no worries, it happens. This shows you're easygoing and understanding. You can use this phrase to reassure people. For instance, someone thanks you for a favor. You reply, no worries, happy to help. This phrase creates a friendly, relaxed atmosphere. Let's bring many of these phrases together in one final, comprehensive conversation. Imagine you're meeting a friend for coffee after not seeing them for a while. You arrive and say, hey, how's it going? Your friend responds, pretty good. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. You reply, no worries, I just got here too. Your friend says, so what have you been up to? You answer, not much. Just working and trying to stay busy. By the way, did you hear about the new gym that opened? Your friend says, no, I didn't. That's interesting. You continue, yeah, I was thinking about joining. How about you? Have you been working out? Your friend responds, not really. To be honest, I've been too tired lately. You say, I know what you mean. Work can be exhausting. Your friend agrees, I couldn't agree more. Then they ask, so are you free next weekend? You reply, it depends. What did you have in mind? Your friend suggests, maybe we could go hiking. You respond, I'd love to. That sounds great. Your friend says, perfect. Let's plan for Saturday morning. You agree, that makes sense. I'd rather go in the morning before it gets too hot. Your friend says, fair enough. I'll send you the details later. You reply, I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to it. Your friend adds, me too. Well, I should get going. I have a meeting soon. You say, no problem. Take care and let's catch up soon. This conversation uses over 20 phrases naturally and shows how everything comes together in real communication. You've just learned 50 incredibly useful phrases that will help you survive and thrive in any English conversation. These phrases aren't just words. They're tools that will give you confidence, help you sound natural, and make you feel comfortable in any situation. The key now is practice. Don't try to memorize everything at once. Pick a few phrases that feel most useful to you and start using them today. Use them when you talk to friends, when you practice speaking alone, or even when you write messages. The more you use these phrases, the more natural they will become. Remember, every conversation is an opportunity to practice. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Making mistakes is part of learning, and every time you use one of these phrases, you're getting better. You're building your English skills one conversation at a time. I'm so proud of you for watching this entire video and investing in your English learning journey. Consistency is everything, and showing up every day is what will make the difference. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who's learning English. Your support helps us create more content like this every single day. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss tomorrow's lesson. We're here for you every single day with new lessons to help you improve. Thank you so much for being here and for trusting me to be part of your English learning journey. You're doing amazing, and I believe in you. Keep practicing these phrases, use them in your daily life, and watch how your confidence grows. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.